They're not shocking or surprising. The top 5 regrets people share at the end of life are actually pretty predictable, but they land differently when you pause to reflect on your own life alongside them. In this episode, we're exploring those regrets and turning them into 5 invitations to live more intentionally and more in alignment with the best version of you. You in? Hey there, friend. How are you doing? How's your week going? I'm so glad you're here. So, you may have heard of the book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. And if not, no worries, I'll catch you up. In this episode, I'm talking about what those regrets can teach us, and I'll veer into the different categories of regret we carry. And before we wrap up, I'll also tell you the inspiring rest of the story about the author of that book, and I'll share my own list that I made from what I learned from her personal story. So let's dive in. Okay, this book, Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, has been out since 2011. It was originally a blog post written by a palliative care nurse, Bronnie Ware, and over several months it started getting a lot of attention, and she ended up turning it into a book, and I'll talk more about that part a little later. Through Bronnie's conversations with many patients near the end of their lives, she discovered that nearly everyone she cared for had the same handful of regrets. And as you would expect, they were about relationships and time and the way they had or hadn't showed up in their lives. So today we're going to talk about these 5 regrets and, more importantly, how we can avoid them. Regret number 1 is, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not what others expected of me. Oof, let's sit with that one for a second. How many times have you put something on hold because you were worried about what other people might think? Maybe it was pursuing a passion, speaking up for what you believe, or even making a big life change. I believe we were all created with unique gifts and talents and ideas and dreams for a reason. You're not here to live someone else's version of your life. You're here to live your life. And if that feels scary, that's okay. Courage isn't about never feeling fear. It's about just moving forward despite the fear. So what's one small way you can start honoring your truest self today? Let's move on to regret number 2. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Too many people look back and realize they spent so much time chasing more success, more money, more validation, and they missed what mattered most. The dinners with family, deep conversations with friends, the moments of pure, simple joy. It's easy to get caught up in the thick of thin things, as Stephen Covey would say. Work is a part of life, and doing meaningful work is a beautiful thing. But let's make sure we're not giving the best of ourselves to our careers and leaving the scraps for the people and things that make life actually rich. Number 3 is, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. How often do we hold back what we really want to say? Whether it's love, appreciation, or even setting boundaries, so many of us stay silent because we don't want to rock the boat or make things uncomfortable for someone else or for ourselves. But unspoken words can create distance. They leave things unresolved, and they often weigh heavier on us than we realize. So today, I challenge you. Tell someone what's really in your heart. Send that text, make that call, write that letter, because at the end of the day, what's left unsaid can be a huge regret. Regret number 4. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Life gets busy, right? We get caught up in the day-to-day, and before we know it, years have passed since we last saw or even talked to some of the people we once cherished. But the older I get, the more I realize that friendships, the deep, soul-filling ones, are some of the greatest treasures we have. And yet we often let them slip through the cracks. So let's make sure we don't have that regret. Who's someone you miss? Someone who's maybe always made you laugh or just got you. Reach out to them. It's pretty easy nowadays with social media, FaceTime, Marco Polo, or Voxer. I love Voxer, or one of the many other apps. That's a great, easy way to keep in touch, even if it's just a brief, how are you doing? You came to mind today message. And regret number 5, I wish I had let myself be happier. This one is interesting. I had to stop and pause about this one. I wish I had let myself be happier. Isn't it wild how we postpone happiness? We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I lose the weight, when I make more money, when I have everything figured out. when I get to the bottom of my to-do list. But we all know happiness isn't a destination. It's right here. It's right now. And too many people look back and realize they spent a lifetime waiting for a perfect moment that never came. So let's stop waiting. Let's stop thinking happiness is something we earn after enough hard work and sacrifice. Let's just start finding it in the little things, in a great song, in a stress-free morning, in a deep belly laugh with a friend. Because achievement is great, but it's also about how much we enjoy the journey. Now that we've walked through those 5 powerful insights, and hopefully that gives us a little motivation to start living with more intention, but now let's take a closer look at how regret actually shows up. Most regrets, whether from big life choices or small moments, usually come from one of 2 places. Those stemming from actions we did take, which are regrets of commission, and those arising from inactions or something we did not do but we wish we had. Those are regrets of omission. So regrets of commission are decisions that we made and in hindsight we view as mistakes or poor choices, and that can include a lot of things. Major decisions like dropping out of college or who you married, as well as smaller choices like lying to a friend or betraying somebody's trust, words said in anger or being rude or insensitive, or the way a relationship ended, romantic or friendship or a family relationship. And then the regrets of omission, those are missed chances we didn't take. So that would be like not seizing opportunities that could have changed our lives, not pursuing our dreams, not speaking the truth, or standing up for ourselves, or maybe standing up for someone else, not taking better care of our health, leaving conflicts unresolved because it was just too awkward to open that door. So we just leave it alone. Or it could be tasks left undone, leading to guilt or a sense of unfulfillment. And all of this impacts us. Holding on to regret keeps us stuck in the past. It erodes our self-confidence. It takes up mental and emotional bandwidth that we could use for better things. It feeds anxiety and shame and self-judgment, and it can make us hesitant to move forward for fear of making another mistake. Or it makes us feel like we're not good at making decisions, so we don't dare step into another one. Letting go of regret frees us from the emotional weight of the past. We become more present, we reclaim our energy, we begin to see ourselves with more compassion, more hope, and more belief in our ability to make good choices going forward. Letting it go allows space for self-love and joy and, possibility. So I shared some regrets that people have at the end of their lives, but you and I are still living, and that means we get to do something about it. And I'm sure we will as we are moving forward. But what if we already have some regret? I bet most of us aren't walking around with a totally clean slate. We all have memories that sting, decisions we'd do differently, words we wish we could take back, just scenarios when we'd love a do-over. So I want to talk about regret not only as something to avoid, but something to heal by looking inward with compassion. Generally, when we regret something, we beat ourselves up, sometimes ruminate over it because we feel we could have or should have done something different in that situation. So, forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, the choices you wish you could redo, and the times you acted out of fear or maybe just confusion. Let go of the weight of regret so you can create the life you truly want to live. Regret is heavy. You don't have to carry it. So how do we begin to release regret and activate self-compassion? Here are 3 gentle ways to start. Number 1, speak kindly to yourself. Talk to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love. If your best friend told you that she felt awful about a decision she made 5 years ago, you wouldn't shame her. You'd remind her of her goodness, point out how she's grown, and help her move forward. You deserve that same kindness, and your past self deserves that same grace. And number 2, use the hand on heart technique. When a regret pops up, try this. Place your hand, either hand, over your heart. Close your eyes for just a moment and say gently, I was doing the best I could with what I knew at the time. That one sentence can soften the sharp edges around an old hurt. And number 3, reframe what ifs into what is. When your mind starts spinning with what ifs and should haves, Just shift your focus to what is, like what is now. Ground yourself in the present, not the imagined past, not some alternate timeline, but right here, right now. Because healing regret doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means freeing yourself from the pain of it. It means letting go of the weight while keeping the wisdom. You're allowed to be a work in progress and have peace. As the old saying goes, worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. So instead of rocking in place, let's move forward with grace, with confidence, and a little more peace. So if you've been carrying regret, big or small, today's an invitation to begin gently releasing it. You're allowed to move forward, keep the lessons, keep the wisdom, be here now. So I promised you a little bit more about Bronnie's story. This is the rest of the story. And what makes Bronnie Ware's message even more powerful is how her own journey embodies the very wisdom she learned from her dying patients. Her story is a great example of living authentically rather than according to others' expectations. In 2009, Bronnie had just quit working as a palliative care nurse for the last 8 years. She was also pursuing her dream as a singer-songwriter, and a music magazine editor asked her to write an article. So she wrote the article and realized, wow, I really like writing, and started a blog. And then she wasn't sure what to write about on her blog. She felt inspired to write what she knows. Well, what she knows is palliative care. So she wrote this article about the 5 top regrets of the dying. And over the next year, it started getting a lot of traction. People started noticing it. By a year later, over 1 million people had read her post. And by the 3rd year after, 8 million people. Wow. So an agent contacted her about doing a book, but then 25 publishers initially rejected her book proposal. So she just published it on her own. And it did really well. And then, long story short, she actually, the day after she had her baby at age 45, Hay House contacted her and offered her an international publishing deal. And it got great success. It still has great success. Her story perfectly illustrates her patient's wisdom. She had the courage to live true to herself, like moving from songwriting to writing when life called. And she said yes to that initial article in the first place. So that opened the door. And through all this, she didn't work so hard that she missed what mattered. And then she expressed herself authentically in her writing. She's written several books since then. And she maintained connections that supported her journey. And most importantly, she allowed herself to be happy along the way, even though she had some health difficulties through her journey. So she's living proof that when you honor your heart and take that first step, even when you can't see the whole staircase, life will lead you exactly where you need to go. She says that now she lives a life completely regret-free, which is a blend of compassion and not caring so much about what people think about you. So I compiled my own list after hearing her story of life tips from Bronnie Ware. So number 1, take the first step. Don't wait to figure it all out. Just get started. Number 2, trust the timing. You don't have to be ready when things take off. Just trust that you are ready enough. And number 3, use life lessons. Your current challenges, your job, your health, your caregiving, that's what often fuels your true message. And number 4, regret-proof your life. Live authentically, work mindfully, not endlessly. Speak your truth, cultivate real connections, choose joy daily. Simple, right? And number 5, let go and allow. When you surrender resistance, life can surprise you with opportunities and purpose and even miracles. What would your life look like if you stopped worrying about others' opinions? What do you really want to do that you haven't done yet? What would your days look like if you prioritized joy and connection? In the end, you don't answer to anyone else. It's your life, it's your story, and when you look back, what'll matter most isn't the awards or the achievements, it's how fully you lived, how true you were to yourself, how often you showed up with heart and courage. Really, just how much love did you give and allow yourself to receive? Okay, well, there's some things to think about. That's all for this week. But wait, before I go, quick heads up. Next week's episode will be the last one in season 1 of Catching Sunshine. I'll be taking a short break during August for some travel and a breather, and so that I don't have regret number 2, working too much. And I'll be back mid-September with all new episodes for season 2. I've got some great interviews lined up and some super fun topics. So if you missed any favorites, now's a great time to catch up. Thanks for spending this time with me today. I love having you here. And hey, would you do me a favor? Would you send this episode to a friend of yours that you think might enjoy it too? That's how we grow. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I will be here next week, so I will see you then. As always, keep shining.